Hi, we're Team 34313, the Waring School Brick Wolves from Beverly, Massachusetts.
One of the things I don't think people really know about FLL is how many skills you learn in it that you can apply to other things. For instance, through the project, I learned a lot of technical writing. I learned how to write formal emails to experts and to teachers when I need it for school. The technical writing really comes to help me during my science class.
Being on the FLL team, I've learned a lot of new skills, such as being able to use spreadsheets more effectively and writing technical emails to experts so I can get my questions answered quickly. So our team tries to focus a lot on the core values and project binder, as well as the robot game, which means dedicating whole build days, which are between 9 and 4, just to writing project binder content and working on how we can improve our core values binder to really emphasize that we take these things seriously.
At the beginning of each of our practice sessions, we'll come in and our coach will write a to-do list for us on the board. This will include a list of tasks we need to accomplish for the day. Then, since he needs to go instruct and help the JV team, we'll be left to achieve all these goals independently.
What I really admire about Owen is his ability to work effectively at any task, whether he's at practice or not. I always see him on a dock or working on his model, whether or not he needs to. It's getting done, and he has like a level of focus that I don't have and a willing to take on the most difficult tasks that the team has.
Owen he's really smart, he's tall, he's very funny, and he's very introverted, he's very quiet, but if you really get to know him, you can tell that he is super enthusiastic about FLL. He cares so much, he puts in so much extra time and extra effort. He comes in during lunches, he stays an hour and a half late after school, he comes in on weekends, and he puts so much time and effort into the team.
What I admire about Chris is that he shows a genuine interest in all of our agendas. So if I'm working on the plants and Owen's working on the robot, and he wants to be a part of both of those, he wants to see what's going on in every little part, and he's a great right-hand man for a lot of our hands-on tasks.
So Chris has been one of my best friends since about 6th grade when we went to school together, and which was before we started FLL. So it's just being on this team with him has really strengthened our friendship, which is cool. It's also cool to be able to do something like this, like such a big project over such a long time span. And now we're going on a trip to Detroit, which is pretty cool with him. And then more on how he contributes to the team. He's very good at presenting our ideas, both in his writing and his speaking. He's also very good at speaking to adults, which helps a lot with the presentations.
Peter, much like Owen, is super smart. He's really tall and he's very funny, but he's a lot more extroverted and loud personality. So you really get to see his enthusiasm. It really comes out and it fuels the rest of the team. If I'm not in the right mood to be working, or I'm not really in the zone or feeling that good, or I'm frustrated, he's always funny and he's always enthusiastic, and it helps me to get back on track.
So I have sort of known Peter since about 6th grade, but we have really only become friends through FLL this year, which is pretty cool. And he is very good humored. He makes practice a lot more entertaining, but then he is also able to work and focus really hard when he needs to, which is really helpful. He's been very, very dedicated to the plant project. He really enjoys that. He came in almost every day to help feed them and water them and document their growth and all that.
I think my season highlight is seeing all the success that we had with both of our experiments, how both times that we ran our experiments we saw major successes, and it really proved the point that we were trying to prove. There weren't really any hiccups or issues. It was all really straightforward, and it was really the best possible situation.
My highlight of the season was at the Newton tournament, our state tournament. I was feeling really good because we went through our project presentation, our robot presentation, and our core values presentation. All those went extremely well and I was feeling super good. The only thing is we weren't really doing super well in the robot game, and then afterwards we managed to get the run that we needed the whole time. We finally got the run that put us just into the top % so we could be considered for the Champions Prize, and it was so satisfying and it was so relieving to get those extra points.
So my highlight from the season was probably the judging sessions at Newton. So first we had our project judging, and we were all really nervous for this because our presentation hadn't been going that great. We were still messing up a lot, and I was especially nervous because I'd say I'm a rather shy person. And but then we absolutely nailed it, and we came out knowing we nailed it. And we were beaming and laughing, and we were just having so much fun knowing that we actually did good, and we were really nervous about that. And then we went into core values judging with that attitude, and we did great there too, and it was just great.
Okay, let's start again. Can you erase? Oh no.
Okay, Waring.
You definitely gotta cut this in somewhere sneaky. Nobody's gonna notice.
My name is Tim Backlund. I'm the head of school at Waring, and I'm an alumnus of Waring School. I graduated in '94. The WIP was a long time in the making. Like I said, it's always been part of the Waring culture. I was behind the design and the building of the WIP because it was so well planned and fit so organically into our way of doing things. And certain teachers, our science chair at the time, Francis Schaefer, Sarah Carlson-Lear, those folks were so well researched on makerspaces and programming and Lego League that by the time it appeared that we could do the fundraising it would take to build the makerspace, we had all our ducks in a row. And so it was a no-brainer, and it's no accident that the whole process took, forgetting the committee, the STEM committee, the process of the design and the build took all of 6 months. From everything I see, the FLL team is all in, and at Waring, students have to be all in because we're a small school. The things that students do have to have full participation from the members, and FLL is certainly all of that. I've been so impressed to see all of the hours and good sweat and toil that FLL has put into all its endeavors. And Waring as a small school has huge successes, and FLL is just one good example of that.
My name is Laura Bittler, and I'm the Director of Advancement at Waring, and I have been here for about 3 years. And in my capacity as Director of Advancement, I coordinate the school's fundraising as well as marketing communications, parent relations, and alumni relations. So the Waring Industrial Park came to be in my first year here at Waring when we were thinking about our annual fundraising auction, and we typically do a capital project each year for the school, something that we raise money for and that we immediately try to create to have an immediate impact on our community. And there was a real interest among our faculty to increase our STEM offerings, and we decided to make the creation of a makerspace at Waring a priority for our 2017 auction. And at that event, we were able to raise over $92,000 in one evening, specifically to fund this project. And we had the auction in April and started construction over the summer, and were able to open the makerspace in the fall of 2017. I'm so proud of this team and what they've accomplished for Waring, and I have been honored to have the opportunity to help spread the word of the great work that this team has done to our Waring community and beyond. So our social media platforms and local press coverage. So we had quite a bit of local newspaper coverage after this team qualified for the world competition, including a local radio show that did an interview with our students, and several local newspaper articles, and the Boston Globe did a wonderful article about them. So we're really proud of the coverage that we were able to get to spread the word about this team and their great work to head to the world competition for FLL.
So I'm Rich Stomberg. I'm a science teacher at Waring, and also a parent. And I run the greenhouse and have been into horticulture for a very, very long time. The WIP has definitely opened up an entirely new sort of way of learning for wearing students. And more than what I'm doing, I know that there's many classes that go in there on a regular basis and create things, compete for, they're doing the Lego robotics, and so it's just opened up an entirely new hands-on kind of learning for wearing students. Wearing has always been about experiential learning, and I know a lot of places talk about that, but we really do that. It's embedded in our culture. We do camping trip, we do end term. These are both really chunks of time out of our year where we devote ourselves to just doing things and not just talking about them. And the whip is all about doing things. Well, you guys were really amazing. You basically came up with the idea, did the research, got together a protocol, and when you came to me, what I provided most of all was a little bit of experience growing plants, some ideas about specific things to do, how containers to grow them in, lighting, and sort of technical support, and that's really as much as I did. You never stop learning, and so one of the things I've never seen anybody do, not just the hydroponics, but spinning the plants around and looking at the sort of tug and pull between phototropism and gravitropism. It's fascinating to see. It's neat to tie in with the space program. So yeah, I learned all kinds of things.
Hello, my name is Colin Keegan. I'm from the other Wearing Varsity FLL team. I am in 8th grade. I'm 13 years old, and so last year basically no one really had any experience. I had like a tiny amount, and none of it ended up actually applying to FLL. And so it was hydrodynamics in 2017, and we had a much larger team that year. It was sort of crazy because everyone was learning coding and learning how to deal with the robots at the same time as trying to work with a very large team to complete the FLL challenges. And it was a lot of fun, mostly. But we actually ended up not doing very well. But it was a really great learning experience, and we then had a second semester where everyone broke into much smaller teams, figured out how to actually do some of the challenges in better ways. We did a lot better in that second unofficial semester of FLL, and that really set us up for a very good season. The next semester, when we had teams of 3 and 4, I was on the 4-person team, obviously. And so we really didn't actually do that great at the robot game in our qualifier. And so really we weren't expecting to come in any place at all, and like not to get any awards, any recognition or anything, especially because that was sort of our expectation from last year, because last year we had done not great, and so it was so surprising and exciting and just awesome to actually get first and second place in a wearing robotics. I mean, in an FLL robotics competition.
My name is Sarah Carlson-Lear, and I'm the librarian at Wearing. This is my 10th year at the school, and I'm one of the coaches for the FLL team, and my role is mostly to help with the project aspect of the of FLL. I'm a librarian, and so the research aspect is a natural fit for me. So for a long time, I've really been interested in makerspaces and libraries and that connection, and how libraries can go beyond just like books and databases, but also be a place for resources that people could use that they hold in common. So I've been really excited about that aspect of the WIP, that these are things that anyone can come in and learn to use. So one of the things Francis and I have thought is really important is just to keep the space open. And so we've been staffing it during Focus Flex and lunch, and so it's a place that I spend a lot of time. We have the 3D printers that are available for students to use once they're trained. And we also have the little vinyl cutter called a Cricut, and you can use that to cut vinyl to make stickers, or heat press vinyl to make like iron-ons and things like that. And so students use that for their own personal projects. Sometimes they use it for school. One of the things I appreciate about Waring is that the school really values experiences and making things and doing things, and I think that's been true since the earliest days of the school. Students do pottery, they make crepes in French class, they're always making things. And the WIP allows us to use modern tools to continue that same trend. So I don't think it's a break and now we're doing this new thing. It sort of continues this trend of making and doing an experience in education.
My name is Francis Schaefer. I am a physics teacher at the Waring School. I also helped to found the Waring FLL program last year, and I'm the STEM coordinator for the Waring School. Yeah, so what is the WIP? The WIP stands for the Waring Industrial Park. It was a name chosen by the students. We had a vote on our annual camping trip. Several names were proposed. We narrowed it down to like a list of 6 names. One evening, every kid got to put their vote in a hat, and the Waring Industrial Park won as the suggestion for naming the space. So we were at the Newton tournament, which is the Eastern Massachusetts State Tournament, and I had spent all day watching from afar, because as a coach at one of those tournaments, you get to say some encouraging things and you get to watch the kids, but you're not down on the floor with them as they're doing as you guys were working with the robots. All I was is helping you when you were at the pit time, making some adjustments. And of course, I don't see you guys present your research projects, and I don't see you, go to core values judging, and I don't get to see you do the binder, talk about the robots and the robot binder and everything, the technical judging. But so I just didn't even know how the day was going, basically. I would talk to you and you said, well, judging looked like it was great. I was thinking, okay, good, well, they're happy. So we got to where they're announcing all the prizes. So all the judges are lined up across the big gymnasium that we're in, and all these prizes are getting announced and teams are going up and they're doing this wonderful thing where they run down and they high five, and we're getting to the end and there are not many prizes left. And it's, I'm just starting to think we're not gonna win anything here, and that's gonna be hard because you guys had worked so hard. I knew your work was really good. We had come in on weekends, and even starting in the summer, I mean, you put in literally hundreds of hours of time to work on the robot, to work on the research project, to work on the core values binder, to work on just everything, producing it, writing, talking to experts. And so we get there, and then there's second place is announced, and it's not us. And I really thought, wow, we're really going to, like, this is going to be a very long van ride home. I mean, we have no right to win prizes. It's not like that, but it's just, I just thought that we had done a really good job. So I was actually standing next to your dad, Owen, and your brother. And then the judges started to describe the winning team's work, and they made a reference to Doctor Who. And I know that your robot is named after a funny line from Doctor Who, and I really was very emotional. Yeah. So, and then you won. And then we stood around like for an hour afterwards, and I called the head of school. I never call him on his personal line, like, because it's business. We're old friends, but I never like call him on cell phone about anything to do with work. This is the one time I think I've ever done it. And said, hey, we won the whole thing. And he said, great, we'll go to Detroit and we'll pay for it. So.
Our champions had high scores across the board, with the project solution being pursued by NASA and a color-coded robot named after a Dark Lord. This team considered all their options and clearly had fun. The fail-safes in their programs will surely help make them number one. The first place champions award goes to team 34313, Waring School 2.
When the morning comes and we see what we've become, in the cold light of day we're a flame in the wind of the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back, 'cause with all that has happened I think that we both know the way that this story ends. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile, but no, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. When the evening falls and I'm left there with my thoughts, and the image of you being with someone else, well, it's eating me up inside. But we ran our course, we pretended we're okay. Now if we jump together, at least we can swim far away from the wreck.